Hello, everybody. It's Joan again from the Lakeside Church, Toronto. We have another exciting painting to do today. Before that has details. So this is something that is new to me, and I hope I would do this painting justice. Okay, so I am painting on behalf of the Lakeside Church, Toronto, and we have Sunday services at 10:30, and right now it's still online as we still have the COVID restrictions in Toronto, and we also have Tuesday evening prayer meetings. That's at 7 o'clock, and you can find us on Facebook or on our website, the Lakeside Church Toronto. Okay. Of course, as before, we're going to have John to do our devotional, and we'll say a little prayer for us. Come on.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hey, maybe I can open this drawer and set my Bible there. That won't wreck everything for everybody. Okay, let's put the glasses on so we can see. Hey, everybody. How are y'all? Bless you all. I just pray the Lord bless you right now in his presence and fill you, no matter what you're going through in your life. God bless you. Wow, my hair looks really weird today. Oh, well, who cares? So this thing is about the changing seasons. That's sort of the central theme of what Joan's going to paint. And then I thought, well, what would be applicable? And in the devotional that she had chosen, there started with Ecclesiastes 13:1. And I looked at it and I thought, this is such a beautiful section of scripture. I just wanted to read the whole 8 verses and then verse 11. So I just encourage you just to let the word of God wash over you here and just enjoy God's presence just as I read this to us. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time to war and a time to peace. And verse 11, he has made everything beautiful in its time. I think that's a great section of scripture. Now, this devotional was written by a lady named Kristina Myles and highly modified by my wife Joan and myself. So if she ever listens, please forgive us. And anyway, here we go. In Ecclesiastes, Solomon tells us there is a time for everything. This includes transitions. And, well, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and fearful about the unknown future. We can have peace in knowing that it is God who is ultimately in control. Often, before those transitions take place, God prepares us through times when we think we're just sitting on the bench or doing nothing for God. In those still times, he is changing and molding our hearts for what is to come. We often lose track of the hours of the day, and we try to fit talking to God in between the chores and the rush of the day. But God doesn't want us just to fit him in. He wants us to engage him continually in a conversation. Going through the motions doesn't even fool us. Even if he has to interrupt us as we are sprinting through our days, it is worth it to let him remind us that the race we run in this life is not in vain. In other words, God is going to make sense of it all, and you just trust in him. He'll pull it all together in the end. Today, if your life is currently like ours, if things feel like they're upside down, if you're wondering if the pile of laundry on the floor is clean or dirty, and you're trying to remember what day it is this week, take some time to dwell in the presence of God. He longs to spend time with us daily, and by drawing close to him, he will bless you in your life in ways that you could never imagine, even in a season of transition. So, bless you all with that. And I'm just going to say a quick prayer. Lord, as your children endeavor to reach into their well of creativity that you've given them, I pray that you give them freedom, give them joy, give them peace. And Lord, just let them, in a sense, minister in spirit to the canvas, Lord. Create something that is of your hand. And I pray that it would just be joy and love and fellowship in the whole day. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Okay, bless you all.
You're
welcome.
Thank you. Okay. I love our devotional today. There's going to be a follow-up question after that, so don't walk away with my
Here.
paper. Okay, so we're going to switch our normal procedure. Okay, so we'll have our painting, and then at the end of it, I will have a few things to reflect upon after our painting, or maybe even uh, during painting, or when you're finishing, you're putting details in your painting, you can reflect on these questions. Okay? All right. So let's begin. We're going to be drawing a stag. Okay, I know deers are very hard to draw, but we're going to make it as simple as possible. We'll just take it on the head and the great big antler. Okay? So the way I started this, and that's for YouTube, and this is for Facebook, so you can see more closely. Superman's symbol, triangular thing. So I started with this line here. This is just paper, okay? I already draw my deer on the canvas. Okay, so the way I just started with this line, and then went like that, went like that, and then made a sort of a U at the bottom here and going up. Okay, you were able to follow that, and now that way you can transfer this information on your canvas. Okay, so the canvas is face of the deer is small in the canvas, so that's why I put it on paper. All right, so we have the outline of the face, and the ear is normally as big as the head or the face of the deer. So we'll put on our ear just like a mango shape. Highlanders, you should be able to draw that. Okay, mango shape. Oops. And there you go. So now the eyes are actually for me, became the most difficult thing to draw. So the way it should be is, see where we had this stop? Yeah. So we stop there, right? So this actually has his forehead is like so. There's like a little U. So you make a faint line right there. And that should be where the eyes goes. Okay, so that, and I just made a circle right under the I'll make it darker, but don't do it dark on your canvas, okay? So this sort of top of his head will be your guide. Okay, so this actually follows the top of his head right here. So draw your circle, and to draw his lashes, so cover half of his eye and curl it like that. So cover half of his eyes and curl it out. But now he's got pretty eyes. So for the nose, kind of just go sort of triangle, a V. I did sort of a V there. V. The tip of his nose. And then I created the snout. Okay. Created the snout. And then just inside the snout, that's about half an inch or so, I created the nose. Just like a mushroom looking thingy. There. Okay. I have the snout, and then the nose. And just under that nose, I made a line for his mouth. Yeah. Okay. And then his neck would start sort of just follow this line of the ear where the ear starts, and just make shade. It doesn't really matter. So we're just going to stop there. And then deer normally has this sort of fur in front of their chest. So we're going to do some of that. So that's why I have this section and then this section. We're going to shade that in our painting. And this is where his body starts, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's pretty much how our deer is going to look like. Let me take out that dark tracings. That's how he would look like. Okay. And then we will start. See this section here that we that's where the not antenna, antler is going to start. Okay. Okay. So the antler is just gonna go up, and there's more. Then it branches several times. Da 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 da. Okay. All right. So let's go to our painting. Now, for those that are here in Toronto or in Scarborough, and would like to have maybe an outline or a copy of this, just let me know. I'll photocopy this so you can trace it, okay? Or that'll be your guide. All right, so I have done that thing. Here's our canvas. It's messy. So I have done the face. Oh, that's the first drop. I didn't drop the brush yet. I had dropped the pencil. Okay, Nicole. I hope Nicole is watching and monitoring our WhatsApp. And there you go. And if you have any question, let me know. If you are watching on YouTube, I'd be able to see it right away. And I'll try to answer as I go along. Also on Facebook, I can see it right away. But if you are going to ask a question on WhatsApp, I'll let Nicole monitor the questions. Okay. Yes, I won't drop it again, Nicole. All right, so I did the Superman's uh, symbol. I have that, and I have my letter U, and then this is my forehead. So from the forehead, I'm not gonna draw it. I have my eyes, and whoo, my eyes became so big. And then I will do my lashes, covering half of those eyes. Curl it. I'll have my ear as big as its, almost as big as its face. And then the neck. So remember, the neck pretty much start right where the ear starts. So we're going there, and then there's the fur area on his chest and the rest of his body, which we will not do. Okay, so going to the antler now. I'm just gonna make the base here. Okay, what we will be doing, you're probably wondering, what does the deer have to do with four season? We're gonna make his antler four season. How about that? So this plate would be my guide. I'll put it right on top of his head. And from there, the antler goes around. So I trace that. And, well, there. And I stop right about there. I stopped here and there. Oh, stop. So now the antler goes around. Okay? And we will divide the antlers into four. Um, the deer, Nicole says, should the deer be centered at the bottom of the canvas? Um, the deer is pretty much just below the middle of the canvas. What we are focusing more is the seasons on the antler. Okay, so we're going to be, let me bring it a little closer. There you go. It's very faint, my tracings. Um, that's because it's going to be light and I don't want it to show later on. So we will make several branches. So this section of the antler would become spring. So we'll have little flowers and yellowish green leaves. This section of the antler will become summer. And then this section of the antler will become fall. And the very top of this antler will become winter. How about that? All season. Okay, so don't forget your plate. Just get a plate. If you're, I'm using a 11 by 14 canvas. If you have a bigger canvas, use a nice bigger plate as your guide. Okay, that's that. So get painted. So the colors that I have are basic colors. So I have black, dark brown, a little bit lighter brown. We call it sienna, burnt sienna, but it's basically brown mixed with either red and white or something like that, depending on the color that you want. I have blue and white for my sky, and then I have the fall colors, which is orange and red. Then I have the green and I have the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to be using mostly the detail brush, and this one is just to create a background. The detail brush would be your small brush, and have another round brush here. Okay, so get those brushes wet. I just have this just so there's a little bit of drama later on, but not necessary. Okay. Again, as before, don't leave your brush sitting in the water. Get them wet and then take them out of the water and put them on the side. All right. I have my blending brush here. Sorry, I forgot to mention this brush to create our background. Okay, so it's the background would be blue and then sort of brownish beige on both sides. So blue and white for our sky. Very, very light, okay? Start at the top here. Lighter than that. When you do your sketch, don't make it too dark. Otherwise, it might go into your painting. Okay. You don't want it to blend into your. All right. Go. I'm putting a little bit more white center. I want it to be very, very light. Go. And I'll just carry that along on the side. So now on the side here, we're going to have a little bit of a forest, quote unquote, look. Okay. So this is the sky. And we'll have sort of the beige, light brown mix in with the brush. Too dark. So just light brown, okay? Light brown. And that'll go into our blue. Part of the leaves of the forest, okay? And I'm going to take that down here. It's okay if there's variation in your color, which is the best way to go. I'll make that darker. And I'll put some at the bottom as well. So when you're doing a large portion of your canvas, it's best to use a wider brush. Your arms doesn't get tired. Okay. Maybe I'll even touch green a bit. I like that. Like, don't make this too dark, okay? Don't make it dark. We want to focus on our antler. on our deer. Just very light. Starting to dry. When you find your brush starting to dry, just dip it in a little bit of water. So just to mention that come fall, we're going to have our um, exhibit. And I'm excited to do this. Now, it would have been nice if we'd be able to invite everyone, um, public, friends, family to come. So let's all pray together, artists, that we'd be able to open to the public come fall, okay? So paint as much as you can. I know there's a lot of restrictions going on right now, and we have no access to supplies. If you need me to help you, let me know, and we'll coordinate, and we'll try to get as much supplies as we could, okay? So, there you go. There's my dark forest. Well, sort of dark forest. I'm leaving the middle open, okay? Right. There we go. I'm just covering up space. There's no particular way I'm doing this, but the more you mess this up, the better. Shake, shake, shake. Okay? There you go. I'm gonna brush my, rinse my brush. Sorry. Rinse the brush. Okay, so you see how I scumbled and really was hard on my brush? Now when you rinse your brush, rinse it well. So this is now a tip to you. And then see how this is a little bit frayed because I was really hard on it. So rinse it and then shape it back into place. Okay, don't leave it uh, frayed like that. So this is one way. I know brushes are expensive, and some could really, if you take care of it, it'll last you a really, really long time, and you'll be able to paint so well now. I decided to get the good brushes and just care for them. And one way for me to care for them is, um, let's say this one. This is a round, stiff brush. So the synthetic brushes like this, it's easier to manage and easier to clean. They wash clean. But the boar bristles, this kind of brush, you really have to take care of them. So rinse them well, clean it until all the paint is gone. Now this is a very old brush now. Some of the stain did not come off, but I rinsed it as much as I could, and I don't leave them in the water. Otherwise, it'll get ruined. Okay, this wood will expand, and then when it contracts, when it's dry, it'll become loose. So there goes your brush. And another way that I saw somebody care for their brush is to put a little bit of conditioning. We use a hair conditioner for our own hair. This is also hair. So if you put some conditioner on your hair, the bristles of your brush, it'll soften it. Okay, so soften the brush. Okay, tip of the day. I don't know if that's it. Okay, so let that dry. Fix that frayed bristles and put it on the side. Pretty much done with this now. So we're gonna be using our round brush a lot today. Okay, medium and small. I have the line, actually the liner brush too. All right. So here we go. So we're gonna mix. We're gonna do the outline of our deer. We'll start with the light brown. So brown to trace our deer. Okay, yeah, to give the outline of the deer. Oop. Go. Super deer, not Superman. And we'll bring that down. Okay, I hope you can all see. And we're gonna go down on the side of his face. See, now what's happening is with my light brown and wet brush, the pencil marking, the tracing is mixing with it, so it's making it darker. So try not to make your tracing too dark, okay? I'm making my chin here sort of a U shape. I'm gonna go around. There. You see it? So we have flat, sort of flat. We're gonna make it curved later on. Curl it like that. Go like that. Superman style. Then make your U. Okay? I'm gonna take some paint off because it's too much. So we'll just cover, and we'll do the highlights afterwards, okay? So no worries, I'm just blocking off his face. So if you find that your brush is too wet and it's spreading too much of the paint, just wipe it off. Wipe your brush uh, or squeeze the water out. And that way you won't make a mess. So this is just blocking off the colors on his face. We're not drawing Bambi. We're drawing his dad. Okay? Okay. So credits to the original, I better mention that. Original artist that has the entire the deer and the head is JoeJoearts. Okay, he did a great painting. It's not a how-to painting; it's just a picture. So that's his head. Now we let that dry. So I'm gonna work on his neck and his body for now. Okay. So I'm gonna go with a slightly darker shade of brown than his head. Oh, follow that. The other side. Then his fur. His fur. So use the stroke of the brush to define where his fur is. Okay. This one goes over here. This side goes like that. And they meet in the middle. Okay. I'm gonna make it darker. So from the side to the middle, this side to the middle. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but this area here I didn't do because we're gonna make that part lighter. That When we put in the chin, you can see it. So now they meet. So it's not an X, okay? They're gonna meet in the middle. I've never really seen a deer myself. I would love to see a deer up close. I guess we can see them in the zoo. I haven't been to the zoo in a long time. All right, so we're gonna go to the body. So the body is sort of going this way. That way. Make it a different shade of brown. Add some other color just to make it different from the neck. So this I'm adding sort of beige. Because his back is reflecting the light from behind him. Okay. But very, very light. Remember, our focus is not the deer. Our focus is this antler here. Doesn't really matter how you make the body of the deer. Okay. You can even make it kind of cartoon-like if you want. So I'm just filling in gaps. Seeing some gaps now that it's dry. Okay. Now we're going to continue with the face. If you want to use the detail brush at this point, maybe that's what I'll do. The detail brush would be the tiny, tiny brushes. So remember, he has a forehead here. We're not going to draw that anymore. We'll just do the eyes. Sort of a roundish oval. It's dark brown. So it's brown and black that I'm using now. Okay. We're going to give him some black lashes. The lash kind of goes across his eyes, halfway. They have pretty eyes, you know. If you look closely, the deer's very pretty eyes. At least the pictures that I've seen. Maybe this year I'll make it a point to see them. Okay, that's one eye. The other eye. I'm giving him long lashes. Got extensions. So it will be much easier if you're using a liner. I don't know if you can see how thin my liner is. See how tiny that is? It's very tiny liner. Okay, it'll be the best thing to use. But if you don't have it, you just make sure that you just use the tip of your brush. Okay, so I'm going to go over that again. Oh, I like doing his lashes. Right. Let's go on with the snout. The snout is sort of flat at the top, then goes down. Got his lips over there. Now we'll do a nose. Make an oval thing. And a split in the middle for the mouth. So that's why it's important to pre-draw your ear, so you have a nice guide. Okay, so we'll just leave the snout white, but we will color his nose in dark brown. And we'll have a little bit of highlight at the tip of it. Right there. At the tip of his nose. A little white. Nose. And we're going to do a little bit of white in the middle of our highlight. Just a little bit. Just a little touch. Good. Our little deer. Now I know there's this very nice Christian song about a deer. Maybe Christine can sing that for us. Yes, Christine? I'm just filling in the colors here so that it shows our deer. Okay, so now we're going to go to the ears and the antlers. I'm going to make this part a little darker, just so you can see his forehead more. Right? He's got bangs. All right, let's go to the ear. Remember, the ear starts right over here. More color. And just a nice curl. It's almost as long as the face. Okay? I heard deers have long ears or big ears. All right, that's one ear. The other. This one flat. Maybe he's scared. I don't know. Okay. So just when you're filling in the color of the ear, make it a different shade. Put a little bit of white, a shade of gray. And blend it in with the outline. Okay. Darker a bit. Light. So this is where we're going to be putting in some highlights. Right? And shadows. Right underneath here. So black and brown. There. And this side too. We'll have a little bit of shadowing over there for his nose. All right. How's your deer coming along? Christine, you're going to sing for us, right? Okay. We let that dry. We can add more details if we like. If we don't, that's also fine. So I'm going to go switch back to my round brush now that I was using earlier. And we're going to go with the antler. So dark brown, black, and we'll make it watery. Okay. We add more water so it'll flow. Most of the time, artists use a medium to thin or make, yeah, so that you can manage your paint better. So we're going to start from here. Remember, we go around and then we stop right about there. And there, about there. Okay, so here we go. Okay, remember, make the branch at the bottom thickest, okay? Just like a tree, um, it's thickest at the trunk. Go like that. You just lift your brush. And take note how I'm holding my brush. I'm holding it like that, not like this. So it's easier to make go thin. So you push and then you lift. Okay? Lift, push, and then you lift. Branches here, branches there. Up there. So push, drag, and lift. Push, drag, and lift. And then you make your lines as squiggly as you want, and as many branches as you want. It's entirely up to you. It's your little deer. Any branches, the better. Now you can switch up your brushes. If you're not creating tiny branches, you can use a smaller brush to do that. Okay. And there you go. You can drag your branches here and there. Black, brown, as dark as you could. Go to the other side. This guy's antler starts about here. Up. Push. And drag and lift. Not very good on the left side. If you notice that you have thin branches that are supposed to be thick, you just adjust. Okay. It doesn't have to be equal, okay? But try to make it as even as you could. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my tiny brushes now. I'm gonna rinse the paint off. Okay. I'll use a long. Okay. So the way to thin your brush is to get it with water, mix it with water. All right. The squigglier, the better, okay? There you go. Squiggly, squiggly branches. See, I'm still holding it up like that. And then twist and turn your brush to make the squigglies. So I'm still mixing black and brown. And I'm gonna make some more squigglies right about there. And if your branch doesn't look good, just make it squiggly. There. Adjust here, adjust there. The secret is thin your paint. Squiggly, squiggly. More water, brown, black, and this guy's sparse in branches. And we're gonna work on this antler now. Okay, if you find that your brush is separating, Get it wet. Quickly. The more shaky your hands is, the better. I'm there. Shaky hands. So it's drag and lift. Drag and lift. Drag and lift. Okay. Probably wondering, wow, creating a lot of branches. There's a reason for that. Don't forget, if you have any question, just post them. Thanks, Nicole. Awesome antlers. Okay. All right. So I think I've had enough branches. Okay. So here's the fun part. Where's this 4-season thing? So I'm going back to that other one. Rinse that. Got the blank. So you'd find me rinsing my brushes pretty much whenever I finish using them, and then putting them on the side. Okay. Facebook sees it more than YouTube. Sorry. Okay. So remember I said we're gonna have this section: spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay. I'm gonna start with spring. So we will have yellows and pinks. So we'll have white and red. We'll have little flowers on them. Okay. So the way I'll do the flowers, just quite see it. Red, red, red. Then white, white, white. Sort of a cross. Okay. So one flower there. So put in as much as you could. So white, white, white. Then red, red. Okay. Now, if you find that you're loading up your brush too much, just wipe them off. So red, 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 then white. Okay. Just all over. I think I'm gonna do red, 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 and then come back and give them some white highlights. So 4 dots of the red. I'll come back with 4 dots of the white. All right. White. Don't cover the red, okay? Just on the side of the white. Sorry, on the side of the red. Okay. That's going to be our spring. And then at the end of it, we'll just put on the leaves, okay? Now, this is going to be our summer. So what I have decided is to put on some apples. Like that. So, what color is an apple? Sort of a brownish red, right? I think it is. Brownish red. So maybe I'll have a cluster of apple right over here. Let's see. So round, round, round. Okay. I do hope you all create this painting. This is so pretty. And I think this would be a bestseller when we do our exhibit. This is not something that you would see every day, right? I've got my red apples. Okay. I'll give this antler one apple here. Okay. And then in the fall, we'll have some fallen leaves. So they are mostly orange and green. Push and pull. Just draw some shapes of leaves. Um, might be falling. So it's orange and red. So orange and red. More orange than red. A maple leaf would have been better. It's kind of hard to draw. We'll have some leaves falling. Push and lift. We'll have some of the branches start to discolor. And I'll give it a black line in the middle. Much. Well, right. Some more. All right, that's your fall. Now we're gonna go to winter. See these black branches here? We're just gonna put on some snow on them. So just on top of those black branches, put on some white. Mm, just white. Some snow on top of the branches, okay? We'll just carry that over here. Go. Don't cover the black branches, okay? Just put it on top. And some could be more white than the other. All right. Now I'm going to go to my apples and give them some highlights. I'm just going to see, I use this for white here. Just going to keep that color on it. Just touching the top of the apples. Not a lot of white. Just a little bit. Give it definition. You know how apples shine. All right, I think we're ready to put on some leaves. I'm going to go with our green. I didn't even use yellow. And maybe I'll use the yellow now. Green and yellow. So push and pull. Push and pull. That's all. Okay? So green, push and pull. Maybe I'll make my green a little darker. There you go. Okay? Some leaves here. Oops. I'm just touching the canvas, push and pull, to give it the illusion of impression of leaves. Thank you, Christine. I'm gonna wait for your version, okay, Christine? And Nicole, thank you, Pastor Brian and Pastor Sabrina. Okay, so we're just using green here, and we're gonna carry along the green and maybe a touch of yellow to summer. It's like little check marks, okay? Oh, maybe you couldn't see quite well. Hold on. I'm gonna bring the painting closer to you. If it would get unstuck, oh, there it is. See, the leaves are just like little check marks, okay? So you don't have to really work so hard on it. Oh, there you go. So I just touch and then flick it. Touch it and then flick it. Get cluster of leaves or little leaves here and there. Doesn't matter. You put them. You could put in as many details as you could. I do encourage you to do that. Um, the original artists have birds and butterflies all over them. Some even had like some snow. I think I'm gonna do that. Um, but yeah, put in some butterflies and make your uh, painting your own and put in your personal twist and touch. You could even put in a blue jay somewhere here. All right, and an owl. No, not an owl. What do you call those blackbirds? Yeah, I forget the name. Blackbirds over here, maybe one or two. And in the fall, maybe I don't know, something. Okay. Oh, I know, grapes, maybe. Right. So maybe I'll do the grapes. What's the color of grape? Purple and red, right? Blue and red. I'll make purple. Yeah. There you go. I just did purple. I'm gonna give this cluster. I don't know if I will like it. If you don't like it, take it out. Nah, I don't like it. I'll make it into a leaf. There you go. There's the green leaf that's starting to discolor. Now I had to add some more. All right. Then a butterfly, a bird, a raven. That was a blackbird I was thinking about. A raven and some other things. Take a picture and show me. Okay. Send it to me. Send it either on WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, whichever way you like. But show me. Okay. So make many versions if you want, so that all TLC artists you can make different versions. It doesn't have to be round like this. It doesn't even have to be four seasons. Make it sort of a tree type of thing. So personalize it, make many versions, and then we're gonna sell it come fall to help with our building fund. All right. As promised, yes. Before I end, I have four questions. So we were talking about the four seasons when we began, and John was talking, was gave us the devotional, and it's absolutely beautiful. So to reflect on what we have done today, what we heard today, um, I have some questions. So we talked about how we were just trying to fit in God into our busy lives. So we really like it. He wants us to be engaged at all times. So our the reflections that I'm going to leave you is what transitions are taking place in your lives. Um, can you see how God has prepared you for them? Second question, think about a time of waiting in your life. How did that prepare you for what took place later on? So, there's so many things to think of today, this time. How often, third question, how often do you spend focused time with the Lord? How do those times develop intimacy with? What hinders those quiet times? Lastly, how can you avoid these distractions? And there's verses that I would like to encourage you to read. Ecclesiastes 3, chapter 3, verse 1 to 11, which John read today. And we have Matthew 11:28 and Philippians 2:16. So I do hope that you enjoyed our little painting today. Let me bring it a little closer. Here you are. Okay. And yes, I'm excited to see your version of this painting. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening in and joining in today. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful week or weekend. It's Saturday here right now. And thank you very much. God bless.